You know that piece of advice everyone loves to give? Just be yourself. Sounds so simple, right? But it's actually one of the most complicated things we're ever told to do. So, we're going to dig into why that simple phrase is so incredibly hard to follow.
Yeah, just be yourself. It's supposed to be this magical key to authenticity and freedom. But if it's really that easy, why do so many of us find it almost impossible?
And that, right there, is the heart of it. What if this isn't about people being fake? What if it's about something much deeper? What if people are just being careful?
All right, so let's start by really unpacking this be yourself problem. Why does this advice, which sounds so good on paper, so often fall flat in real life? Think about it. From the time we're kids, we learn through trial and error. We figure out pretty quickly that some parts of our personality get rewarded, with laughs, with praise, with inclusion, and other parts, they get met with awkward silence or judgment, or they're just flat out ignored. So over time, our idea of being myself gets edited down. It becomes the version of us that works.
And this is where we have to reframe the whole conversation. Because what if this isn't some kind of character flaw? What if it's actually a really smart, deeply human survival strategy?
We tend to think about this stuff in a very philosophical way. We imagine people are walking around, deeply pondering the question, who am I at my core?
But the truth is, in most social situations, our brain is asking a much more practical, much more primal question. It's not, who am I? It's, which version of me is going to get through this situation safely?
So how does this performance become so automatic that we don't even notice we're doing it? Well, it's a skill we learn, and it gets reinforced every single day starting when we're very young.
It all comes down to a really simple feedback loop. You try something out, you make a joke, and everyone laughs. Okay, positive reinforcement. Note to self, do that again. Then you say something really honest, and suddenly the room gets weird and quiet. Negative reinforcement. Got it, don't do that again. You do this thousands of times, and you learn exactly which parts of you are safe to show the world.
And this learning process creates different versions of you, each one perfectly tailored for a specific environment. For instance, at school, you probably have one personality, the one that knows how to navigate the teachers and the social maze.
But then, when you're with your close friends, a completely different person shows up. Maybe you're more relaxed, more open, more you.
Online? Well, that can be a whole other world. The perceived risk is lower, so maybe a louder, bolder version of you comes out to play.
And then at home, with your family, maybe your quieter version. The point is, none of these are necessarily fake. They're just highly specialized tools for navigating different social landscapes.
And this brings us to a really crucial distinction. Being fake, that feels like you're consciously trying to deceive someone. But being adaptive, that's different. That's a subconscious adjustment your brain makes to keep you safe and maintain social connection. It's not about lying, it's about surviving.
But all of this constant adapting, all this performing, it comes at a cost. There's a hidden trade-off happening under the surface.
And here's the quiet deal we make with the world, often without even realizing it. We trade away little pieces of our raw, unfiltered authenticity. And what do we get in return? Social comfort, a sense of belonging, approval. We trade who we are for the security of being accepted.
The problem is, if you perform a role for long enough, the line between you and the character can start to get really blurry. The mask starts to feel like your own skin, and you forget you're even wearing it.
And this is where that deep, unsettling feeling comes from. That feeling of, I don't even know who I am anymore. It's often not because you don't have a true self, it's because you've been carefully editing and sanding down the edges of that self for so long you've forgotten its original shape.
So, with all of that in mind, let's turn this idea inward and end with a question for you to think about.
The next time you find yourself in a conversation, just pause for a second and ask yourself that. Are you truly expressing yourself, or are you presenting the safest, most acceptable version of yourself for that specific moment? There's no easy answer, but just becoming aware of the question, that's where everything starts.